Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Thank you for tuning in to The Fierce Factor. It's Kaylee here with episode 122. Today, we're going to talk about the reason that so many of us just tolerate bad behavior from our employees and why it's time to change that up ASAP. This week's episode was inspired by a student in our Confidence to Scale business certification program who told a story recently about needing to come home from her vacation in Iceland with her husband to handle immediate issues in the business that couldn't be managed by anyone but her. And those issues couldn't wait until she was originally scheduled to come back. So she literally left her vacation early to go back to the business. Essentially, an employee with a fully booked schedule called out and went on her own vacation, apparently, with a full week of clients. So this owner had to come in to cover all of her patients. Holy cow. And that situation really got me thinking about why in the world this dedicated business owner who is providing a lucrative employment opportunity to another human, and why so many of us have to deal with these kinds of fire drills in the first place. So I want to touch base on the top 3 reasons why I believe we even put up with these behavioral issues in our business and what the heck to do about it. So first and foremost, if you're an aesthetic provider, chances are you didn't wake up one day thinking to yourself, I know, let's go build and manage a team, right? Instead, you decided at some point in your early life, you were going to heal people. You were going to create space, a safe space for joy and transformation in others, a place where people could feel peace. And then success probably came by accident. You care about your patients, and the last thing you planned for along your growth path was needing to develop the skills to hold people accountable to generating results for any business, let alone yours. In fact, many of our clients admit that they get a sour taste in their mouth when it comes to accountability. It feels negative or bossy or condescending. It's a responsibility they quite frankly would rather not even have at all. And so instead, we tolerate it until we just can't take it anymore. We turn our heads thinking we'll deal with it later, or tell ourselves that we don't have another choice, or we'll hope and pray that things will change. But does it ever change? Maybe you have a conversation with that employee and they shape up temporarily, but in the end, go back to their old ways. Meanwhile, the rest of the team is sitting back and watching all of this happen and taking notes. Another reason we put up with bad behavior is that we tell ourselves we're just too busy and we can't afford to let that employee go because we will either be the ones to have to pick up the slack or we'll lose revenue temporarily. On the same Confidence to Scale coaching call, another student told the story that she had a really hard time with a front desk associate for a while, to the point that she would not even look forward to walking into the office in the morning because she had to deal with this girl's attitude. But her team was fully booked and there was no other option but to keep this front desk employee around until she didn't. One day, this business owner decided she had had enough and she terminated the employee. And to her immediate surprise, she shares this part of the story that her team was elated and relieved that this toxic employee was no longer around. In fact, all of the other employees offered to pitch in and help, and they recognized that bad behavior was unacceptable. This business owner set the tone right off the bat. If you aren't showing up with the attitude it takes to deliver the absolute best experience to our customers, you won't cut it here. That energy will not be tolerated, period. And the third reason we deal with bad behavior in our business is that we get off track right off the bat in the hiring process. Most business leaders will hire for the things, for the tactics, for the skills and experience, but fire for the attitude around how those things are done, right? Ask someone who their favorite employee of all time is. We don't answer, oh, they were really great at answering the phone, or they just were an excellent Botox injector. No, we say things like, she's always showed up on time with a big smile. She anticipated my needs. She was a joy to be around. She was a complete pleasure. So why do we lie to ourselves and pretend that what we want is someone with skills? How unique is your job advertisement? Can it stand out against 250 other jobs advertised on Indeed? If Indeed is spitting out 250 qualified candidates, that's a good sign that you're not being selective enough off the bat, and you're probably not hiring for character. Remember that you can teach someone how to do the things, but you can't teach them to get excited about doing them. So if you're dealing with bad behavior, here's what to do instead. Get clear on who you need, meaning what kind of person does it take to be successful in your business? Then get clear on what responsibilities that employee should have that result in a profit for your business. Start setting some firm boundaries around what you're willing to tolerate, and then demonstrate your commitment to those boundaries with action. If it means rescheduling patients, then do it. You can't expect a new result by taking the same action that got you the result that you have. And at the first sign of bad behavior, nip it in the bud. Don't let that fester and blossom into something beyond that. Leader, at the end of the day, we need to get really honest with ourselves about what we're building. Unless it's a 5-minute pop-up shop, start thinking about the bigger picture, the legacy, the mission you're on, the mission greater than you. Does bad behavior fit into that formula? Learn from your mistakes, grow, get stronger, move on. Don't hang on to a bad mistake because you spent a lot of time and money making it. If you're dealing with bad behavior in your business, it's time to unsubscribe. Okay, leader, I hope this quick message helps you really think about how you can make better decisions that will lead to fewer headaches and more fulfillment in your business. Now go boss up. I'll see you next week, leader. Wait, before you go, hey, if you're vibing with this conversation and you want to join me on my mission to help 100 inspiring and intentional women cross the next $1 million milestone in their business this year, or leader, maybe you want to become one of them, head over to Facebook and join our free community, the Fierce Factor Society. Over there, we're taking this conversation to an elevated level. Get access to resource guides, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me, my expert team, and of course, a society of fierce women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetic wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to Facebook and search the Fierce Factor Society. See you there, goddess.